Yep.
Yes.
And you're on video, it's being recorded.
Show up for me.
Yeah, we can.
It's not long. I don't have to do anything else.
Okay, and this is extremely good. Our manager would say. What I'm going to grab, and going.
So in the building is on fire.
I also wear my glasses. I got one of
No, we don't want to do that. My phone rings.
What was the sourcing and everything? If you model it.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. No. Do we have? Yeah, well, I need the documents from up front there. A second.
Yeah, I'm Michael Tyler. Nice to meet you.
Additional, only one there?
Yeah, if you need one, the agenda.
No, I.
All right. I can never remember.
The light has to be on.
Oh, there we go. I do the roll call, Chairman. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We're going to begin for the evening. This is the Monday, June 5th, 2023 Zoning Hearing Board meeting at Borough of Morrisville. We're going to do a quick roll call first. Hussam Jalab?
Yes.
Stephen Hoppy? Yes. Suzanne Zukowski?
Yes.
Maureen Burke-Carlton? Sorry. Go ahead.
My name is Andrew Griffin. I'm here on behalf of Maureen Carlton as the solicitor this evening. And I just would like to announce that prior to the meeting, we held an executive session just to discuss the reorganization of the board that's going to be on the agenda first.
Michael Italia? Here. And Lorraine Robson?
Here.
Thank you. We're now going to move on to the reorganization of the Zoning Hearing Board. Are there any nominations for chairman?
Yes, I would like to nominate, pass a motion to nominate Stephen Hopp as chairman.
I second the nomination.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. I would like to nominate Suzanne Zukowski as our secretary.
I second.
And votes?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, that also passes. All right, moving on, we need to approve the minutes from Monday, November 7th, in the case Bollywood Limo at 70 East Bridge Street, Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Assuming everybody's read the minutes, I motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on Monday, November 7th, 2022.
I second.
All approved?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. Okay, we're going to move on to reading of the notice of zoning by the board secretary, which is now Ms. Zukowski. This is for an application presented by Jacqueline and Dan Decker, also known as Discovery Daycare of Morrisville, 78 North Pennsylvania Avenue in town. So go ahead, let's read their notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Morrisville Borough Zoning Hearing Board will hold a public hearing on Monday evening, June 5th, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers of the Morrisville Municipal Building, 35 Union Street, Morrisville, Pennsylvania, 19067, in the matter of the petition of Jacqueline and Dan Decker, aka Discovery Daycare of Morrisville, for the premises located at 78 North Pennsylvania Avenue, Morrisville, PA 19067, map number 24-009-200. The petitioner intends to use the property as a use B6 day nursery, nursery school, kindergarten, or other agency giving daycare to children. The use category B6 day nursery is not permitted by right in the C1 Central Commercial District in which the property is located. The applicant is requesting the following variance from the Morrisville Borough Zoning Board. A use variance is requested from section 465-17. Attachment 1, table of land use to permit a B6 day nursery, nursery school, kindergarten, or other agency giving daycare to children within the C1 Central Commercial District. Documents relating to this matter will be available for inspection during normal business hours at the office of the Zoning Department, Morrisville Borough Hall, 35 Union Street, Morrisville, Pennsylvania, 19067. All persons in favor or opposition to granting this application may be heard at the above time and place.
Thank you, Suzanne. Mr. Talley, can you please verify that this notice was properly advertised?
I can verify that this notice was properly advertised.
Excellent. Okay, moving on. So this is normally where Maureen talks about witnesses.
Yeah, that's fine. So at the conclusion of the hearing this evening, we'll have an opportunity for anybody that's appearing to make public comment either in favor or in opposition to the application. But if there's anybody seeking party status this evening, now's the time to step forward and provide your name and address. Party status actually makes you a party to this action. That gives you the ability to question witnesses, to present evidence, either in favor or in opposition to the application. And if you do not agree with the board's decision, it would also give you the ability to file an appeal as if you were a party to the action. So is there anybody appearing this evening seeking party status? Okay, and I would just note for the record that nobody has appeared seeking party status this evening. So with that, I would move forward just to mark the board's exhibits. As Exhibit B1, I'm going to mark a copy of the application of the applicants this evening. As Exhibit B2, I'll mark a copy of the proof of advertising, the certificate of posting, and the public notice that was just read. As Exhibit B3, it's a copy of the tax parcel map for the property, as well as a list of properties within 200 feet of the property. And as Exhibit B4, I'll mark Chapter 465-17, Section 13, Attachment 1, which is the table of land uses for the zoning ordinance that shows what uses are permitted in which zoning districts. Do I have any objections to the omission of the board exhibits?
No?
Seeing none, those will be admitted.
Great. Okay, we're going to move on to presentation of the application's case. So is the applicant here? Great. Did you bring counsel or just yourselves? Great. So you may step forward. You can use the podium. This is pretty straightforward, so we just need to swear you in, and then you can present your case.
You just raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I affirm. My name is Jacqueline Decker, Jacqueline Decker, D as in David, Ecker.
Daniel Decker, Daniel, Decker, Decker.
Great. So the floor is yours. You can tell us why you require the variance and any other supporting information we should know. Thank you.
So I just really hope that this would be approved because we've been loving what we do for the last 20 years, and it's grown to, I turn people away because we're fully enrolled, and it really is hard. It's sad to not offer people care when they've come from somebody else or they've heard nice things about us and they trust us. Because as a parent ourselves, having care that you trust is, you can't go on. You can't go on to your jobs if you don't have that. So we have teachers that work with us that are wonderful and that love the children, and the children are happy. So with an expansion to another property, to the next door neighbors, it's really convenient to be able to stay in touch, all the teachers together. We could easily go to another location or not expand. But our teachers are such a resource to each other and helping each other. It would provide more jobs to the community. It would provide more care, safe care for parents in the community to be able to go off to provide for their families. So it would be, it's something for, the last 20 years I've thought about, but I just weekly get phone calls, almost daily get phone calls where I have to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And it really does break my heart because people are on the phone, at times crying because they don't want to go, they can't go to a place that they don't know or they don't trust. So I would love to be able to continue providing something that I love to do.
Great. I don't want to direct you on how to present to us, but if you could just go over the specifics of what the plan is, where your current building is, sizes, how many more staff, how many more cars, more parking, stuff like that,
Sure.
the practical
Well,
stuff.
the parking actually would be great. We're across the street from you guys right now. We're at 74 North Pennsylvania Avenue. We have the building two buildings there. The property is immediately to the right of that, if you're looking out of this building. And so it would turn our two buildings into a third building. And we also would have the parking lot. The parking lot is fantastic.
So there's an existing parking lot.
At the new
location.
Additional location, yes. Currently, right now, we're licensed for 40 children, and we have 8 teachers on staff. So, I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. The additional building would probably, an inspector would have to take a look at everything. Of course, it would be, go through all of the licensing regulations. But based on the square footage, I'm pretty sure that we would have the capacity to have an additional 40 children and another 8 teachers. The reason why this came up is because Theron Enterprises owns it, and because of COVID, they needed to social distance their answering service. They put in telecommunications for all of the employees to be remote from their home. And we noticed that it's pretty much a vacant building at times. That's an opportunity for us, but it's also something in this town that I don't think is a good idea for a building to be a vacant building.
Are you planning to lease the premises or buy the premises?
We're leasing the premises. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you guys going to be the sole tenant then, because the answering service left? Or?
No, what we're going to do is we're going to do an incremental thing. He said that, he would love to rent the whole premises whenever we wanted it. But I think that what we're going to do is rent one floor, and then as our enrollment grows from that, we will consider renting the additional floor. Yeah.
So that would increase your own staff. Would there be other adults present in the building with access to your areas, or would it be separate? Like if there are adults that work for the answering service, are they going to have a separate entrance to your space?
There's one entrance, but there's a door that would keep our area secure.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So you provide a secure access to any place that you're caring for children?
Yes,
okay.
For sure.
So everybody that comes into contact would be background checked?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. That is a very big requirement of our license.
Yeah, I know that's got other license requirements, but just want to check if you are going to share the building with another usage. So.
Do you anticipate additional signage?
I've never really done signage.
Your building's so cute right now, the purple and white, and you have the sign at your current building.
Yeah.
Are you anticipating any kind of cosmetic upgrade to your
to the current or the
future?
I think it's a beautiful building. They had renovated it a few years ago, and that really makes it so much more attractive to me. The only thing that I spoke with Darren about is providing additional windows because I want more natural light for the children.
Sure.
But that's really the only renovation.
As far as signage goes, we haven't thought about putting any more signage up in the building.
What other questions I have? What ages children do you care for?
Well, our license right there at the daycare is up until they are entering kindergarten. Dan provides for school-age children
At a different location.
at
Okay.
a different location.
What would be the ages?
Yeah. Are your hours of operation changing at all with this
No,
expansion?
not at all.
Okay. I had one more that I should have written down there. Yeah, do you have anything?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Ronnie. Yes.
Thanks. Do you know how many parking spots will altogether?
Yeah. I don't know.
Do we know, Mike?
In terms of parking, though, we really
Sorry, I have one more question. Maybe that ties into one of my question. How do you anticipate the pickup and drop-off operation?
our drop-off. That's exactly what it was.
That's what it was.
Thinking, yeah.
Everybody had that.
Our drop-offs are quick. Like,
Where do they take place?
yes, our drop-offs are usually between 7 and 9 a.m. and then pickups are from around 3 or 4 o'clock until 6.
Are they in the front on Pennsylvania Avenue or within the parking lot?
Yeah. Well, why don't you do that?
Thank you.
The way that the property is now set up, there's a shared driveway with the other building that we're planning on leasing, or we're hoping to lease. People drive through that, and the front building that's on Pennsylvania Avenue has children in it that are 2 and under. So people go through that driveway in between our 2 buildings and drive up, and then drop off children right at that front door. Walk in, drop them off, take off. It would be the same plan. The people that have children in the back building, the Learning Center, they come through the same area, usually, or through Union Street, and just pull up in front of those back doors that are in that back building. It would be the same type of a drop-off system that we have in place for the newer place for 78, where they could just drive through either one of those spots and come through.
So it's more within the property and it's not out necessarily on the public streets?
Yeah, it's totally within the property.
Okay.
And actually, this gives us better access.
Okay.
And a better ability to actually have children be dropped off in a safer area, actually, because now if we have usage of that larger parking lot, now we can actually have a better place.
Yeah. And your current buildings are not attached to one another, like directly interior, and this one would not be either, correct?
Right.
Okay.
One other change that happened because of COVID is that our drop-offs are really fast because the parents are not coming into the building to reduce, really everyone's exposure. And that has been something that, has continued to work well for us. And it also, the amount of time that a car is in our lot is, in the past it was, 10, 15 minutes. Now it's literally less than 5.
Yeah. And it sounds like, just to be 100% clear, the expanded parking would cover enough spaces for all additional staff that you'd be hiring?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just for the record, there's 1 space per 2 employees required on each separate parcel. So I believe you have ample amount of parking in the back there.
Great.
We would only ask that it be striped accordingly if it's not already.
There was some new asphalt that was put in there not too long ago, and I know it was striped at one point, but I don't see why they should have had that done at all.
Okay.
Do you,
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
do you anticipate the need for additional exterior lighting?
No, that's really well lit out there.
Yeah, very well lit.
Okay.
Actually, when they bought the property at 78, we had discussed with them our lighting that we actually have at our place, and we were kind of went in tandem with them with what we were trying to do as far as outdoor lighting, and make sure that because he was they're 24-hour operation was an answering service, and when he had a lot of people that were there, he wanted to make sure that they were safe. So his outdoor lighting is really incredible on the outside with the amount of lighting they put in there. Because we had talked about how we were going to keep our lights on the inside and in between, keep even extra lighting for their premises as well to help them.
Your current building, did you have to get a use variance for that?
No, we were, I guess, grandfathered in. We never had to get a use variance.
And you've been doing this for 20 years.
Total 20
18
years.
years
18 years
currently
here
at this
at this
location.
location.
2 years in our home.
Back to the drop-off and pickup. Are they staggered, the timing between the kids? Drop-off, pickup? Okay. So they're not at one time altogether?
No, it's anytime between 7 and 9 a.m. and sometimes until 9:30, 10 o'clock. I have drop-offs at many times.
It's not as if there's 40 children being dropped off. At one time.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yes, okay. That's right.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Mike, anybody? Okay, great. So they can step down, right?
Yeah, you guys can take a seat. It's just at this time, is there anybody here that would like to make public comment either in favor of or in opposition to the application?
Yes, ma'am. Step up to the podium, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we need you to provide your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Catherine Vroman, and my address is 7902 Spruce Mill Drive in Yardley, Pennsylvania, 19067.
Okay. Do you have children that attend the school?
I do indeed.
Okay. Just trying to make sure the relevance here, because you do live outside the borough.
Yes,
So,
I do.
okay. Go ahead. You can comment either way.
I wrote a letter in support of this expansion, so I'll read it if that's okay.
Great.
Okay. And actually, good point. I do live outside the borough, but came here specifically for Discovery Daycare. So, okay. So my name is Dr. Catherine Vroman, and I'm writing this letter in support of the potential expansion of Discovery Daycare. My son has attended Discovery Daycare for his preschool and pre-K years, and there are innumerable reasons why Jacqueline and Dan Decker will always have my gratitude for establishing such a wonderful place for my son to learn and grow. First, the inclusive, comprehensive, child-centered education my son has received has been exemplary. As a faculty member in the Department of Teacher Education at Rider University, I always encourage my undergraduate and graduate students to design and implement curriculum and instruction that is truly child-centered and strengths-based. Particularly at the early childhood levels, it's even more important to educate and support the whole child. Not only is my son entering kindergarten as an emerging reader and writer, but he has also developed and honed skills that support self-regulation, self-monitoring, goal setting, and perseverance. Discovery Daycare not only centers academics, but also integrates yoga and mindfulness, sign language, art, music, dance, and of course, play of all kinds. As a working parent, the availability of high-quality childcare was one of the more daunting tasks as I finished my doctoral work and decided to return to the formal labor market. Coming out of the pandemic, my son had enjoyed what I affectionately termed Grandma Montessori School. And in relocating to this area, I did quite a bit of research to find the best fit for us and our family. From the minute that I spoke with Jacqueline on the phone, an initial conversation that lasted almost 45 minutes because of how genuinely curious she was to learn about my son and our goals for him, I knew that I had found the place that I felt comfortable sending my 3-year-old for 6 to 8 hours a day. Lastly, Discovery Daycare welcomes and celebrates diversity in all of its manifestations. We have a modern family constellation that includes parents who live in separate households, each with respective step-parents, and we utilize American Sign Language as a native language in addition to English. The Deckers have validated and valued our family makeup and our languages as they would other households, and I know we are not the only beneficiaries of their inclusivity. I encourage you to allow the expansion of Discovery Daycare so future generations of children and families can benefit from the wonderful community they have cultivated. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments? Yes, sir. Same thing. Please step up, state your name and address.
Matthew DeCiccio, 90 Hedgerow Drive. Morrisville. Yeah, sure. It's DESCISCIO. Cool. Thanks. I just took some notes. I don't like talking in public, so this will be interesting. So I have an 8-month-old who's home right now with my wife, sleeping, and then a 4-year-old over there, 2 girls. My family, we also love what they do. I think one of the things that's hits you right away is that it's a loving environment. It's not one of those gross, over sterilized chains where bottom line is what matters. We had a very similar experience that you meet Jacqueline and you're kind of immediately brought into a family. And we felt very safe bringing our kids there. Let's see. What's important for me, so I'm not social, and this is a struggle for me right now, but my girl over there is having the time of her life during a council meeting, which is bonkers. But she, we kept her out for about 1.5 years because of the pandemic, and we just didn't know how to handle that and when to bring her back in. So she spent a lot of those important months with us, just my wife and I, and we did our best to teach her brain stuff, but the social stuff, you can't do that when it's just 3 of you. Excuse me. So we were nervous about bringing her back, but we knew that she would be taken care of and loved and stuff like that. And it was a little rough for maybe a week or 2. She didn't want to go, away from the parents and all that kind of stuff. But it was this weird switch that flipped, and she no longer wanted to be home, and she wanted to be with her friends. She wanted to be with her teachers, and she's so social and well-spoken for a 4-year-old, and it's just amazing. And she wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else because the time that Jacqueline and her teachers spent one-on-one, it's just amazing. And we couldn't ask for anything more than that. It's just outstanding. Want to quickly mention, speak from experience about the drop-off. It's because of the pandemic and the way it changed. We feel it's very safe and it's organized, but it's also flexible because we have kids. So sometimes you plan to get out of the house at a certain time. It doesn't work that way. So they're very conscious of that and very forgiving, and also staggering and accommodating parents to drop off kids at any given time within that window. It's one-on-one, so the teachers come out and take the kids from the car, and I think that also has helped build the relationship. As some new teachers have come on, we've gotten to know them, and also feel that kind of family relationship with these teachers. So, that's it. So
Great.
I'm in favor. If I didn't
I think that came across. Thanks. See, that wasn't so bad. Thank you so much for coming. Is there anybody else in attendance that would like to comment? Yes, ma'am. And same thing, just start with your name and address. Kids are welcome at the podium, that's fine.
Rachel LaGrose. My address is 104 Vernon Lane in Yardley. We have been since he was 4 months old. We moved to this area when I was 6 months pregnant with him, and we started looking for daycares. And we chose Discovery first. We were looking here because we were both commuting to New York City, and it's 5 minutes from our house, 5 minutes from the train. And we came in, we met with Jacqueline and Dan, and I left and I said, that's it. I don't need to see another daycare. We're going there. And in the first, my son was 2 when COVID hit. The first 2 years, I was frantic going to New York City. Just, he would get sick and I would be a crazy mess and frantically running to a train. And every morning, Jacqueline was just incredible and just made me feel like the times I didn't want to leave him and I was scared, I knew he was just in the best care possible and he was being loved every day, which is incredible. And during the pandemic, we stayed in contact. We're, tried to figure out what we were doing, and I was clearly pregnant. So I was hesitant to send him back. I knew he needed to go back because he loves his friends, clearly. And Jacqueline and I talked for I don't even know how many hours.
Sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear right now.
That's because I was the one wrangling the ringleader of the noise.
It's okay.
Sorry. We talked through a plan. And she just reassured me that they had an amazing plan in place. It has been. My daughter now goes there. He just graduated.
Hold on just a second. Let's just get the kids under control so we can just make sure the record's complete here. There we go. All right. Continue. Thanks.
He just graduated last week and is going to kindergarten, and I feel like we are just part of a big family, and I'm so thrilled that my daughter gets to have the same experience that he has. It's wonderful friends. Made a family here. It's
great.
Amazing. They're amazing. And
Thank you very much.
You approve their plan.
Yeah. Okay. Any other commenters?
Morning, Dr. Gary Taylor from 405 Hamilton Boulevard, Morrisville. Also pastor at the Baptist Church across the way here. I have no objection to this ourselves. As you probably understand, we also have a daycare that we run through the church. And I can verify what they're saying, the fact that there are many people calling every day we have to turn away because we don't have the... Actually, our problem is not as much the space as it is finding people we can hire. So if you have anybody you can send away to hire, it's very difficult to find caregivers these days.
Yeah.
But we get calls all the time for this kind of thing. So there's a need. Magic Cottage used to be up at the old school little building there, and it moved out. The Y didn't have anybody here, only have Head Start. They've been at daycare here for a long while. And Garland's place closed also. So there's a real need for daycares in our community to take care. I guess I'm a little surprised when I see that the C1 district is not allowed for daycares since they've been here so long.
Yeah.
And I guess my question would be, when did it get zoned out of the C1 districts? And it seemed like, when we have those kind of changes that the people that are the businesses and places in that particular zone should be notified if there's a change that's going to zone something out of existence.
Yeah.
Our church, for instance, bought in the property for $150 in 1854, and churches are zoned out of C1. I don't know if these kind of changes shouldn't take place without the people inside knowing that these changes are taking place, so we can maybe object to this being zoned out of a place in this kind of way. But I do not object to this, and there's a need for it in this.
Thank you very much. Brett, did I see you wanted to speak?
Brett Anderson, 350 Hillside Avenue. So I am here to support and advocate for Discovery Daycare's expansion. I wanted to say I actually just came within the last 2 hours from my son's 8th graduation, and I can honestly say and believe that part of what got him ready for that those years is Discovery Daycare. And we did have him in a couple other daycares before, then nothing against them, but the amount of you can not just tell they love what they do, but they also hire people that share that same passion. But they're not just over at Discovery Daycare. They're not babysitting. They're teaching. They're doing activities. They're going outside. They're taking these kids on trips and creating memories, as well as teaching them important skills to mold them for the years they have, to come. So yeah, I just think it's important because I nothing against anybody, but I know a lot of the officials and board members are not necessarily raising children in Morrisville, and both of mine are teenagers now. And I just think it's so important to, we want business to more and more come into Morrisville and expand in Morrisville. And here's one that's been successful for 18 years, has already expanded somewhere else and wants to expand here. And that is just something that I can't say enough that I advocate for. And I hope this board, truly considers approving this and making this possible. So they can not only serve, more people, families here at Morrisville, obviously our neighbors as well. And I just think it's just an amazing thing for our community and that would maybe even bring more people here. That's what we all want, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for your time.
Just for the record's sake, you're here in a personal capacity tonight as a citizen, not
Yeah, I'm
officially.
here as a parent who has had a kid in the daycare. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. And are there any more comments? Okay, that will close the public comment section of the meeting. Is there any further evidence being presented? Okay, that will close further evidence. And is there any objection to closing the record to any additional evidence? There are no objections. Okay, yeah, we're on at point 12 here.
Yeah, and if you'd like, the matter's now ripe for the board to consider a motion. We could go in executive session for a few moments to discuss it beforehand if you're so inclined, or the board could certainly entertain a motion now.
Do you guys want to meet?
Let's discuss.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back after a quick session. I'll read it. Okay, so we're all set with executive session. As promised, it was quick. So I would like to make a motion to approve the application presented this evening. Do I hear a second?
I second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's my first night as chairman. So we are going to approve we're going to vote to approve this motion with the following special conditions. The first is the project shall be carried out and the use shall be conducted consistent with the applications, testimony, evidence, and representations of the applicant and its representatives at this hearing. The second condition, receipts of all permits and approvals from any agencies having jurisdiction over the same to the extent applicable. Applicant shall pay all borough expenses related to the application to the extent not already paid. Third condition, the applicant shall comply with the rules, regulations, ordinances of the borough, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the United States government, and particularly with the borough zoning ordinance and subdivision and land development ordinance, unless otherwise waived. And the last condition is that the variance shall only apply to space leased in the building by the applicant and shall not be transferable. That might be a new one that you have not seen yet. So if you, both applicants would stand up and just let us know if they approve of those conditions.
I approve of them.
Okay, the last one that you just said as far as being non-transfer, I just want to hear that again.
Yep. The variance shall only apply to the space leased in the building by the applicant and shall not be transferable. So another business entity cannot take on your lease. The leaseor cannot lease to a different applicant and carry on your variance without another variance here. But if you lease 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, whatever, that's fine. Like you can expand your own leased premises within the building, and this will cover it.
I do have a question. We're using the word lease. Theron and I have had conversations over the last year about purchasing the property. Does that need to have further approval if we do turn this into a lease purchase?
That's a good question. I mean, we can modify, right?
Just say if they purchase.
Yeah, we'll modify the condition then. So we'll say variance shall only apply to space leased in the building by the applicant and shall not be transferable unless the applicant purchases the building.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And then it's still not transferable,
Well, it would be to them as the applicant.
but not a new owner.
Correct. Yeah. Another owner could not buy the building, and
Right.
Yeah. If you buy it, it would transfer.
Anybody else, whatever.
Correct.
It's your conversation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't want to have to come do this just because you guys decide to buy up.
Now you have to make a motion to
Yes.
approve.
Okay, so now we will motion. I motion to approve the application with the conditions as stated previously. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
All right. All members in favor of the motion? Aye.
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 The motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
very much.
with that, I'll just note that the board has 45 days to prepare a written decision. The written decision will have findings of fact and conclusions of law. It'll be mailed to the applicant and any other party, but there are none, so it'll just go to you. And I assume there's not going to be appeal, so I'll leave that off for tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Does that mean, so part of our occupancy of the premises is obviously licensing. Do I need to wait on the 45 days to reach out to my licensing representative for them to come and inspect the location? Or is it immediate now?
So technically, the decision of the board this evening doesn't become final until 30 days after that written decision is issued. However, because nobody's appeared in opposition to the application, I think it's self-evident that there's not going to be an appeal to that decision. So I think you could explain the situation to the licensing board and hopefully get your approval. I also don't anticipate taking 45 days to get your decision out either. So hopefully it'll be quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, we have 45 days, but basically what happens next is the management of the town will prepare the documentation. The three of us will come sign it. You'll receive that decision. And then 30 days after that, it's finalized.
Thank you so very much.
Okay. The next meeting for the zoning hearing board is scheduled for Monday, July 3rd, unless, of course, there is no new business. There isn't right now. And then I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a second? All in favor of adjournment? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. I've always wanted to do that. All right.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
He wants to make a speech. Ready? What do you want to say? What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Here's your speech. Go ahead. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Here, hold on. What do you want to say?
Thank you.
There you go, honey. Good job.